As you probably know, libraries are changing as we speak. I hate to even go back tomorrow and see what's happened today. But it's because of that, it's really important that the staff be on a learning cycle instead of the continuing education that we've been dealing with, where you go out to a workshop and you come back and it's in your goals and objectives. It has to be a continual learning cycle.
Yeah, actually, since we started working, or moving towards becoming a learning organization, I can tell a difference in the way people work around here, and I can see it within myself and my department and with others, and it's definitely a positive thing. It's a good thing.
Well, I have an interest as a library administrator of helping the library to become a stronger organization, and it's the elements of the learning organization process or the concept that seem to me to bring everything together that will help the organization get stronger.
Hello, my name is Sarah Long. I'm the director of the North Suburban Library System, and welcome to What's New in Libraries. We're going to talk about a couple of things today. In a little bit, we're going to visit the Skokie Public Library, one of the members of the North Suburban Library System. But first, we're going to talk about the learning organization. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. For a couple of years now, the staff here at North Suburban has been working to become a learning organization. I call this our Odyssey, and it means a lot of teamwork, a lot of emphasis on communication, and instead of having redundancy here of ability to do a certain job, we have redundancy of knowledge of the vision and mission of what we're trying to do. It's a lot of working together, and actually, it's a lot more job satisfaction for the people who work here. Stay tuned for more. I think you'll enjoy it.
A learning organization is any group of people who are engaged in creating what it is that they want to create. And what I'm giving you is a paraphrase of Peter Senji's definition of this. And it has come to be, in the last 10 years or so, a framework for creating the kind of organization that needs to exist to be responsive to the changes that are occurring in the world today. And libraries have come to look at this because libraries are at a point where they're recognizing there needs to be a very different way of designing and organizing the work that they do.
When I started at North Suburban Library System about 4 years ago, we were a very traditional organization, hierarchical. We were divided into departments and people worked in their department. And now it's changed drastically, I'd say, especially in the last 2 years since we've started working on learning organization techniques. And now our staff, we do a lot of interdepartmental work. Technology has really driven this because so many of our projects require technological assistance. Librarians traditionally are often thought of as people with glasses on the ropes and wearing buns and saying shh all the time and stamping cards. Libraries are very, very technologically driven, and all the records are generally kept on computer. Much of the work processes are done through computers, so librarians have had to learn a lot about technology, and they have learned to, this has required them to step out of their field and to gather information from other areas. And so the librarian is moving into an era where he or she is becoming an information navigator and no longer stamping cards, no longer worrying about people being quiet in the library.
The library is a key source of not only the information, but help in coming to grips with all of the changes that result from the influx of information, what we often call the information explosion. There's another factor here as well, and that is our lives are becoming more complex. And as our lives become more complex, we're looking for easy ways to answer questions, to resolve problems, to make decisions. What's going on within the library is a much greater recognition of the role the library can play in helping people make those decisions, solve problems, come to grips with all of this information. And what's particularly driving some of the change is that the new problems, the needs are being identified at service desks. It's the staff who are seeing the challenges and feeling the pressure to respond to those challenges. The solutions need to be developed in the moment. And that says to the organization and its members, everybody needs to be prepared to solve these problems, to do them individually, but also to do them collectively. The learning organization is a framework that helps prepare people to do that, that helps us break down the barriers of the current organizational structures and really prepare people to be responsive in the moment and not have to ask permission.
I think the most interesting thing about the learning organization for me is the way that people communicate, that the communication level is a lot higher, that you talk about what you're doing, not just the people that need to know, but to everyone. And sharing information is important, but the decision making is spread out more. Being lower on the totem pole, I make a lot more decisions than I would in a more hierarchical situation.
When we first started our learning organization, we needed help desperately, and that's when we contacted Maureen Sullivan, who is a consultant in that area. And Maureen had recommended strongly that we start with a steering committee, and the steering committee would be made up of all different staff members from different areas and different levels of the organization. And we got together, there were 5 volunteers initially, and we called ourselves the ETs, which was short for Explorers on the Trail. And we did take some time coming up with our name, and we decided that this is sort of a symbol for who we are.
Part of my work is in administration, and I do deposit accounts and make weekly deposits. I also have a role in the learning organization, and I'm a member of the Explorers on the Trail, which is a committee based on the learning organization. I'm a person that enjoys change, and so I've been very active in the whole process here. And it's meant, for me, more empowerment as an employee, which provides better customer service to our members. I can make decisions on my own without running to a boss, and it just provides quicker and more efficient service.
Just take those good books off the shelf. I can't read them all by myself. Your local library's got it all, you know. 'Cause summer reading's so fun, let's go. Maybe you might like Oliver Twist, or Daniel Steele where the lady gets kissed. Stephen King will scare your soul. 'Cause summer reading's so fun, let's go. Interview vampires with Anne Rice, or hang with Arthur or the Three Blind Mice. You can read about the Cat in the Hat. Summer reading is where it's at.
The North Suburban Library System serves as a connection between 600 libraries in the northern suburbs of Chicago. How do we connect to you? If your library doesn't have what you need, they can probably get it from another library. Last year, North Suburban vans transported over 900,000 items between our member libraries. We also connect to you with NorthStarNet. If you have a computer and a modem, you can dial into this collection of community home pages for information on municipal services and businesses, and much, much more. Contact your local library for information.
We started out thinking about what are the real problems here, and our staff identified internal communications as a real problem. So we organized a committee, and there was volunteers that met with our director, and they worked out different activities to try to enhance the internal communication. They started out with what we call Wenke, and it's a little gimmick that they put together. It's who else needs to know. And they made notepads with the Wenke on it, and it was supposed to be, and still acts as a constant reminder to us. Then we stop and we think, well, who else needs to know? We also look more at the outcomes. We don't worry so much about how the work is done. We let the staff who's doing the work decide how they're going to do it. And they generally are able to organize it and do workflow processes much better than we could designing it for them. I think our staff is more productive and they're more efficient. And this allows us to take on more programs and more services. And this is because they arrange their work schedules, they arrange their work processes.
Well, one very significant step was the recognition, and it's now probably 8 or 9 months ago, the recognition that it wasn't enough to prepare the internal organization, that it was important to begin to think about its member libraries. And I think it was significant that the decision was made to pursue grant money to provide a program to help at least 2 of the member libraries look at how they were going to become a learning organization. I'm actually here today to present one of the workshops in a series that is funded by a grant from the state of Illinois under the Library Services and Technology Act. And the particular grant and the work that I'm doing is intended to prepare staff in 2 libraries who are member libraries of North Suburban to really prepare them to work in the new environment.
I think it's exciting because I see the staff getting really energized by it, and they're beginning to see how it's making a difference. I think what will happen is that the people that come to the library to use the library will begin to notice a more confident staff, a staff that's more outgoing, a staff that's going to ask questions and ask for feedback, give feedback to the people that are coming in so that we can constantly improve our service to them.
Well, we hope, in general, that the public will be better served. When you've got people that have made joint decisions and processes that have been jointly made, hopefully it'll be better for everyone. And that's our ultimate goal, is the public, those tax-paying public.
Learning organization has really changed this workplace, and it's changed the people in it. I can see that people are, their talents and skills are being tapped in a more efficient and effective way. I see people contributing more, people being really actively involved in their work and in North Suburban. And I think that's just really wonderful.
He also is part of the learning organization as well. As you can see, he's pretty fired up about it. And then he starts up again. This right here is the definition of learning organization right here. Well, maybe it's not too funny, but he sure thinks it is.
Books are magic. Books lead you to adventure. Books help you learn. Books bring families closer together. For family reading tips, call 1-800-321-9511. And remember, families that read together grow together.
And now we're going to the Skokie Public Library. The Skokie Public Library is one of the best libraries in the North Suburban Library System, and I think you'll find our visit there really exciting. Let's see what's new at Skokie.
Skokie Public Library is strongly based in the community, and I think that's a part of my philosophy of librarianship from the beginning. I think it's so important that the library really reflect the community that it's a part of, respond to people in the community, and be an integral part of community activities. So whether it's my involvement in Rotary and the Chamber of Commerce and other activities in the community, or other staff who also get involved in the community, I think we are an integral player and a component of Skokie.
The Skokie Public Library is a wonderful place for people to come to do a job search for a number of reasons. We've made a special area where we have resources that people can use them easily. Right over here we have the actual Employment Resource Center, where we have selected out important books for people to look at, both reference books and circulating books. We have newsletters that people might want to look at. We have job postings that people would want to look at. And it's located in an area right where all of our other reference resources are.
Well, we have many things now. Mostly used to be basically through CD-ROMs. Now through CD-ROM and through the internet, we let people access things like the full text of the Chicago Tribune or electronic Yellow Pages. electronic phone books, so to speak. There's databases of magazine articles and just all kinds of things like that.
I'm proud to say that SkokieNet is one of the best of the community organization networks that exists. Libraries have always tried to provide the information that folks need, so they can, find it easily. The web is another step, and at Skokie, we are committed to providing that information.
The board had a vision early on where people in the community could come and meet together, could present programs, be entertained, that this was an important part of the way people received information as well as through books and other printed materials. And over the years, we have created a number of liaisons with other agencies in the community. We've had strong support from some of the banks in Skokie to present the Young Steinway Concert Series, which has been ongoing now for about 16 years. We have been active participant in the Library Cable Network. So the library has a history of working in this way with community agencies. If you come to the Skokie Public Library, you'll find many of the traditional resources that you would look for in a community library. You'll certainly find a wide selection of books and materials in other formats. You'll find audio tapes, videotapes, compact discs, things to listen to view, and to read. When I think traditionally the library has provided, has collected materials together and that were previously printed or published and brought them together into one location for people to use on our terms. And I think increasingly what you'll find is that the library now is not only doing that, but we are locating resources wherever they may be and helping people to use them from wherever they are at their convenience. And this is the subtle way, I think, in which the library is changing.
If someone wants to come to the Skokie Library to use our resources, the best thing for them to do is come to the reference desk. All of our librarians are trained to help people with all questions, including job questions. So if they come to the reference desk and ask, we'll try to find out what kind of information they're really looking for and then pursue it from there.
And one of the things that the Skokie Public Library has been noted for is having extremely helpful librarians. We hear this time and time again, and it's so gratifying to have the public say, everyone is so helpful every time I come. They just, help me find what I need. They're so welcoming. And this is one of the things I think our librarians do so well. It's becoming more and more important as librarians are the information navigators.
People come in, they look for many kinds of information, including employment resources to find a job. They'll do that over the web a lot. Sometimes they just want information on a company, and they'll use some of the corporate databases that we have just to find out about it. Just even to get an address and phone number of a company, they'll use the electronic resources we have now. Pretty much anything you can think about is being done electronically nowadays. In the library now, we have the ability for people to access our databases remotely. What that means is from home, you can go to the library website, and if you're a user of the local library, you can access our databases from home. These are things that you just can't find anywhere on the web that the library is adding as added value to our website for local library users.
I see technology as vital to the library these days, but it's not an end in itself. We very much see technology as a means to an end. And in any of the technology we acquire, we always think first, how is this going to be for the user? How can we make it most easy for the user? So we do things like get the same type of computer so that people aren't faced with different computers that operate in different ways. We try to integrate the resources as much as possible so that people can sit at one computer and access a number of different resources without having to go from station to station.
As SkokieNet librarian, I connect with the members of the community and ask them to take part in our community information network, which is up on the web. So we contact social service agencies, community organizations, the small businesses, and work toward getting the information about them on the web. This means visibility to them. It means information to our other customers. It's a wonderful resource. The library is central to the community, and SkokieNet is just an extension of that. We're central to people getting the information they need. If it's health information, we can connect them. If it's information about the local glee club, we can connect them. If it's information about the grocery stores or whatever, we can connect them. It's just another, another service that the library can provide. We wanted to have a very small, unique web page for each of the organizations and businesses in the community. And so we sent out a mailing to the Chamber of Commerce first, and then beyond that we went to the community organizations and so forth. And from that small beginning, we have over 230 participants at this time. It's growing like gangbusters. We have our wonderful volunteer, Barbara Goodfriend, who goes out and helps us bring in the participants. We have a colleague who makes calls to the community organizations. We have other volunteers who help with the inputting, because there is a lot of work involved in maintaining it and getting the information into the computer.
I work under the guidance of Frances Roehm, who's in Information Services. And at the moment, what we are trying to do is get our businesses and services in the Skokie community into our website. And we tried various methods of doing this, and we found that the one that works the best is when I go and visit people myself, personally, knock on doors, tell them how advantageous this is for them, and they fill out a form, which is very quickly done, and get it back into the library to Frances, and then it is input into the system. And it is a very rewarding thing for the businesses, because it's the World Wide Web, and they get telephone calls from all over. I was very fortunate to get a grocery store on Church Street. They're located on Church Street in Skokie, called Happy Foods. And he said, okay, offhandedly, I'll do it. And he did, filled it out, got it into Fran. He sent his business card, which is also a very important thing, because we can take the logos from the business card and scan them into their pages. And one day, he got a telephone call from a man who wanted a food basket sent to a Skokie resident. And he gave the proprietor his Visa number, and the proprietor said, I would be happy to do this for you, but how did you find me? And the man said, well, man, you're on the web. And he just found him that way. So these people don't even know where their business is coming from. And I teased the man at Happy Foods, and I said, next time, it'll come from Shanghai. But it is a wonderful, wonderful system. We have a carpet cleaner who is in our web pages, who received a telephone call from someone in Chicago, and this person said, I'd love to have you clean my carpeting and my furniture, but there's no place to park. And he agreed, and he said, well, I need my truck. I come with a van with all of my equipment. And she said, if you come and clean my carpeting and my furniture, and you have to double park, I will go downstairs and sit on a table, or sit with a table and a chair, and I will read a book in case anyone comes to tell you to move while you're cleaning the furniture and the carpeting. So all of these stories have come back to me, and I feel very rewarded when people are doing business from something that I have gotten into. So this is wonderful. Well, here's what I do say. I say this is a public service. A library is a public service. And when you come into our library system, there will never be a charge for this particular type of work. All of the volunteers who do this do it because they want to, myself included. And they are always worried about, will that shoe drop? Will I have to pay something next year? Is this only for 3 months? No, it's forever. Once you're in, you're in.
If you want to find us on the internet, you need internet access. And then you would go to the address or URL, http://www.skokienet.org. And Skokienet is spelled Skokienet. skokie.org. If individuals have a business or a community organization in Skokie and they want to be on SkokieNet, I'd tell them to call us. Give us a call here at the library. It's 847-673-7774. My extension is 2173, and I'll either talk to you about your organization or business and fill in the blanks while we're speaking, or I can send a form so that an individual or organization can be thinking about how exactly they want to express their business or organization on the internet.
The youth services area at the Skokie Public Library has grown tremendously in recent years. It seems that a lot of the Skokie community was settled in the late 50s and early 1960s, and many of those people stayed for years, and the community kind of aged for a period of time. And what we've been seeing in recent years is a tremendous turnover, with new young families coming into town and children just flocking to the Youth Services Department. Youth Services circulation this past year was 42% of library circulation, which was a record for us. And it just seems that whether it's the summer reading club, the book storytime sessions, that children just can't get enough. They're here constantly. They come for the craft programs, they come for the book buddies, they come for the goldfish, they come to talk to the librarians about what they've read, and they just love the library. I think people should come to the library because we are a community center. We're a very welcoming place. I think you'll find a friend here and someone who will be glad to work with you and help you, whether you're a parent helping your child through school, whether you're a businessman looking for information that you need to launch a new business, whether you're looking for employment, whatever your need may be, or whether you just want to read a good book. You'll find someone here who will be glad to work with you, to greet you in a friendly manner, and to help you learn more about this culture and whatever it is you need to know.
Thanks for being with us today. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the Skokie Public Library and about the Learning Organization. And I hope you'll join us again for another edition of What's New in Libraries.
Thank you.